Welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio with a recently completed terrain commission for Warhammer 40k or potentially a Kill Team or even Necromunda. So we're just going to kind of put a couple pieces out here and see what we have. Now we've tried to keep the majority of it as modular as possible, so we've got quite a few options with it, and that's, I think, like one of the coolest parts about this stuff is how modular, like, you can actually build it and the way you can arrange it into like so many different buildings. This is going to start off with the Basilicanum. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it. I could probably like look at the actual name of it and get a better idea, but so basically you have the ability to take the floors, and they actually will like swap between the different setups. So you could run like a larger floor on like the smaller piece. This one is designed for like the second story, and they just kind of clip into place. And then obviously you would need like one of these pieces here to give it like a little bit of extra support. So you could where does this go? There we go. Pop that into place, and then so you can actually like swap between them, and then you could have like a smaller one on this piece also. And then we've got just some random like filler pieces you can kind of clip in where you want them at. But essentially the idea is to just keep this stuff modular so that you can mix it up however you want and build like different setups, you know, so that your board doesn't always have to be exactly the same. And there's multiple kits we're actually going to show off today, and it's really cool because it gives you the ability to essentially combine the kits as well. So, and then we can take the next piece, give it another floor. And then finally, obviously, and then we got a couple of these are super cool. Unfortunately, they were recently discontinued by GW, but we actually got this bad boy in action just in time. So that is essentially like the Basilicanum kit right there. That's what you would get if you just went out and you know, bought that like individually, basically. So let's see if we can't just kind of slide this over out of the way here. And if you take the time and really like push fit these together, they actually like clip pretty nicely onto each other. But very cool set right there. Big fan, and obviously that gives you a nice nice sized building and everything to use. So and then next we have one of these bad boys, and this one again is set up so that this is the administratum, and it's set up so that you could basically build it as the two separate pieces, how I have it right here, or you could actually combine it into a single piece and put them together and then turn it into like one larger building, basically. So that's what we got going on there. And then same with these pieces. If you were going to run it as the two separate pieces, you would just pop this bad boy on here and clip that one, and then Same for this one. Pop that one in there, and now you have sort of like rubble, ruined look for the building there. And then you can take a couple of these pieces and kind of expand onto it. I think this one looks better. But basically the idea is just to have like unlimited options with these things. You know, if you did like a particular like setup or whatever, you could obviously go ahead and glue that. But then if you wanted to combine them into one, you can basically take the floor off here and clip the floors together. And then once you clip the floors together, line this up here and clip it together into like one building. And when I say clip it together, it's like how Games Workshop has it designed. So it's made to actually like stick together like that and stay. Now whether you choose to glue it obviously is up to you as well. So, and then there's a lot of just other random accessories and stuff, like these little pieces and stuff. You can put like little caps wherever you want. You can add in like some other little floor pieces, just to kind of like fill it out a little bit as you go, and then just pop the caps on. And same thing again, they do sort of like clip into place, so they'll stay on their own as well. There we go. Alright. And now we have like obviously two pretty nice buildings we could start with, and starting to have like, you know, essentially like a pretty decent board setup going there. And then we have a bunch of like these random pieces as well to kind of fill the board out. But let's switch over here and we'll take a look at a couple of these things. These are the munitorum crates, and they've got some pretty cool options to go with them as well. Like you can pop on these heavy bolters, storm bolters. That's what they're. Pop on like little storm bolters. Give them like a little bit of extra flavor. Or you could have somebody like operating them if you want to shoot stuff. But these are obviously pretty cool and definitely popular. So, and we did it's sort of like the stock kind of paint job on them, you know, with like the OSL lighting for them, so it looks like the lights are actually working. Did like sort of like the two-tone different colors on them, the yellow stripe on the one, the blue in the middle on this one, and then your traditional red. That's basically like the box art to them. But you know, we just kind of like set it up in a way that they look pretty cool and unique, and you could just kind of arrange those however you wanted as well. Obviously pretty cool little setup. And then a bunch of these guys also, like your little crates and everything. Did up quite a few of these, so you get a bunch of different ones. Get some barrels in there too, but it allows you to basically just set up a little scatter terrain, or have them be like objectives or something like that. If you wanted to have, you know, obviously like a little bit of cover if you come out of the front of there, or if you wanted to be able to take an elevated position, you know, and not be completely exposed. But overall, like little scatter pieces like this are cool. You can put them up on like the different levels. You can put them on the ground floor. You know, you can put them in the middle of the road. Throw a couple barrels in between there too. Very cool little setup with the scatter terrain pieces. And obviously you can mix and match them too. We had some green and some red, just to kind of give you a little bit of extra diversity. They obviously don't have to all be standing up too. You can have a couple like laying down, giving an extra little bit of cover as well. Definitely a cool little addition to everything. Not a ton of room though. Wonder if we could just slide this back a little bit. There we go. Sort of just get that out of the way a little bit, so we can add in some of our other cool stuff we got going on here. So next we have some of the conduit pipes. Specifically done for commission, with kind of like the red look to them. So you could do, you know, obviously they're meant to like go onto the sides of the buildings if you like. You can add in some curves wherever you want. And if you're worried about them rolling all over the place, they give you these little pieces, and you can basically just set the pieces on the bottom there or glue them as you like. But that just makes it so the pieces won't roll all over the place. And then you can set up your conduits like that. Put a little split in them. But I mean, like, obviously the possibilities are limitless with this stuff. And that's the idea specifically of, you know, keeping it modular like this. So that you can basically like build the board however you want, and then go back later and you know, if there's certain bits that you like a certain way all the time, or you find yourself putting in a certain position all the time, you know, you can glue stuff accordingly. But the majority of it actually like just basically sticks into place, just kind of like pressure fits. Like obviously the legs just fit right on there, no problem. And then you can have a couple of them. Toss one of the little power cells in there. Maybe somebody was pulling one out and got killed, whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's just basically like unlimited amount of possibilities for these things. If you use certain ones too, it basically allows you to attach to like certain heights and everything like that, so you can have them going like vertically, horizontally, however you want for the building. So definitely a cool little setup there. Definitely definitely a big fan of all this stuff and the different possibilities that you can do with GW's terrain, obviously. But there is a ridiculous amount of terrain that we did up for this set. Got a bunch of like the little scatter bits too, if you wanted to make some smaller sort of like ruins too. Not going to be able to demonstrate all this on this specific table just because there really is like too much for this size table. The client basically started off wanting like to set up for a kill team, and then by the time it was all said and done, ended up deciding to go with like the full-size 40K board. So that's essentially what we ended up with, was like a full-size 40K setup, which is great. I mean, it's awesome. And now he's gonna be set up for any games he wants and have like, you know, a massive amount of diversity that he can use with all this stuff as well. So lots of little bits and gubbins and stuff you can use also. So very cool overall, and the modularity of it is pretty sweet as well. I'm sure it would make for a super nice setup for anybody that was trying to basically build a board, especially if you're starting from scratch. Just to all of a sudden have a completely painted, fully set up terrain is pretty cool. And you know, you can see by the different colors and stuff that we've used. Certain colors were at the request of the client. Others were like our choices. But overall, you know, this is the overall theme that we typically do. The conduits in red was something specifically he requested. Also like the OSL on the containers and everything. But the typical ruins paint job is how we like to do them here. Kind of with like that overall gray to white kind of fade. You can't really see it looking up from the top like that, but it starts a little darker at the bottom and then gets like slightly lighter at the top. And then these pieces are done a little bit brighter, just because they're supposed to be the top portions of this, as where like the lower portions have like a little bit more of a darkness to them. So but overall, very happy with how everything came out. It's a really nice set and tons of terrain, and there was actually a couple other can't remember which ones, but we already did a couple for it. The ones with the sanctum, did like 2 sanctums already to go along with it, and a bunch more of the scatter terrain. So by the time you put it all together, you can make like a few massive buildings, a bunch of smaller buildings. There's a bunch of like rubble terrain and everything as well. But in the end, when it's all said and done, you know, the paint jobs are obviously like super cool. Not like overly done up, but definitely get like the effects that you're looking for. And you know, you don't want it to draw away from the models. You don't want it to be like too colorful, but at the same time it really gives like the actual like real life feel to your table when your terrain's all painted up and you have like the nice Games Workshop stuff and it's all set and ready to go, versus just you know, some just random piecemeal kind of stuff. So well, there you have it, guys. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and that's another completed commission, this time for a bunch of terrain for Warhammer 40k, Kill Team, Necromunda, whatever you like. And you know, it's all completely compatible with each other. And you know, obviously, like, this is a more expensive package, but you know, we have smaller stuff available as well. And I encourage other people to use the techniques we use, as it allows you to get a lot of stuff painted and on the table and looking good in a short amount of time. So I'm Warhammer Man, this is Warhammer Man Studios, and I'm out of here.